for joining us, and God bless you. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, unseen a shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say. Trump is about to speak. Thanks for joining Speak the Truth 2.0. They go to Trump famous dance. He's playing his song. I know YouTube is going to say something about it. So we'll go back. Next to you and defend her still today. Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Be an American, where it means stand no life free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand next to you and defend her still today. Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Well, this is a nice crowd. You got a lot of people. You got a lot of people standing outside tonight. It's freezing. They got here yesterday like at 2 o'clock in the morning or something. Well, I'm worried about them. Would anybody like to give up your place? Let some people come in from the cold. You go out to the cold. I don't think so. I just want to say hello, Pennsylvania, and I'm thrilled to be back. To this incredible Commonwealth with so many proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. So am I. I'm a proud hard worker. I'm a proud patriot, but you're a proud patriot. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great reception. You know, we're on to expose what happened recently when we took over. You know, it's 10 months, and already we have the largest investment ever made in the history of not our country, of any country anywhere in the world. Think of that. But let me begin by wishing each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that stuff. Remember when I started in 2015, I made my first speech, and I said, we're going to bring back Christmas. Remember, the radical left wanted to get rid of the word Christmas. I said, I don't think that's going to work out. And we did it, and now everybody's saying Merry Christmas again. Which is over 1 year ago today, with your help, we saved America. That's what happened. We saved it. In the most important election victory possibly in the history of our country is going down. We're a country that is being scoffed at, laughed at all over the world. We won all 7. Thank you, Charlie. She said, and you saved us. Who are you? Stand up, please. Who said that? I love her. Only in Pennsylvania can this happen. I know this state. By the way, last election, did we kick ass? Pennsylvania. We won. That means we won 3 times in a row, as you know. But we won all 7 swing states. We won the Electoral College 312 to 226. We won, and by the way, the real vote was much more than this, but we wanted to make it too big to rig. We won the popular vote for the first time of any Republican in many decades, and we won 86% of all counties in America, 2,700 to 525. That's good. We did it. Not me, we did it. And now, after just 10 months in office, I'm pleased to report that America is winning again. Pennsylvania is prospering again. And I will not rest until this Commonwealth is wealthier and stronger than ever before. Remember when Biden got up and called you a state? That was not good. He said, it's great to be back in the state. Oh, where are we? Where are we? What state is it? It's Pennsylvania. Oh, okay. No, we're respected again as a country. We're respected. Since my inauguration, we've created nearly 60,000 new Pennsylvania jobs, including 4,000 Pennsylvania manufacturing jobs that the Democrats gave up on. You're doing better than you've ever done. Under our leadership, more than 40,000 Pennsylvanians have been lifted off of food stamps. 40,000. And working with a great guy, remember David McCormick? He used to go to every rally I had. He knew what was happening. And he's here again, as usual. I can't get rid of this guy. Where is he? And he got a little lucky, though. You know, in Butler, a place called Butler, Pennsylvania. I love Butler, Pennsylvania, but it was amazing. We had a tremendous crowd, like 55, 60,000 people. Then I called David. I said, David, come on up. He was working like hell to get it was a tough race. And very few people could have done what he did. But I said, right at the beginning of the speech, I said, David, come on up. This was before the thing happened. And then I looked up and said, you know what, David, just stay there. I'll get you later. You're so lucky, David. You're so lucky you don't know. I could have had a little differently shaped ear if it weren't for you. You know, you got very lucky that day. People don't talk about that, but I remember I called him up and I said, just stay there. Because he was walking a little bit slowly. I didn't want to take the time. Oh boy, that was a good day for you. What a job he did. He's really a great guy. And his wife, Dina, is fantastic. Frankly, stand up, Evan. He's a lucky man. Working with Senator David McCormick, we've secured commitments for nearly $100 billion of investments in Pennsylvania. We were up here a few months ago. Some of the greatest energy companies in the world made that. We were doing it on a beautiful day. A little warmer than it is outside today, David. But over $100 billion, and we've saved a great American company. You know, we saved, this little group of people and me, saved a little company called U.S. Steel. And it's hot as a pistol now. And we have the keys to the company. It's always going to be here. It's never moving. They said, what happens if it moves to Japan? I said, you can't move a steel mill to Japan. You can move a headquarters, but the steel mill stays here. That's all that matters. And I will tell you, the company is spending billions and billions of dollars, and there was no second by comparison. Other companies were interested, and they really are. They call me all the time, tell me they're really excited about it. And, you know, they're building a lot of additional plants. It's turning out to be beyond what anyone thought possible, but we had to save U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel was one of the greatest companies, which really, for a long period of time, years ago, the greatest company anywhere in the world. U.S. Steel was, you see it with the big factories that were, 2 years ago. Now it's starting to fill up. The tariffs have filled it up because people are coming here. Other steel companies are coming to Pennsylvania now because they don't want to spend 100%, 50%, 25% of tariffs are all coming in. It's amazing. You know, the word, remember when I said tariff? My favorite word is tariff. True, but then I got a lot of heat from the fake news. Look at all of them back there. I took a lot of heat. I got up early on. I said my favorite is turning out. Tariffs are bringing us hundreds of billions of dollars. I just helped our farmers out because they're starting to do really well. But in order to try and negotiate, some countries played a little cute, and we just gave them right out of a tariff money, cost us nothing, right out of the hundreds of billions that we've taken in. We gave the farmers a little help, $12 billion, and they are so happy. And all they want is a level playing field, and now it's happening. And the tariffs are making them rich. You're going to see what happens over the next 2 years. It's like a miracle is taking place. But we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, really trillions. Scott, we have the great Scott Bassett. Scott, stand up. And if you add to that all of the companies that are pouring their money to building plants in Pennsylvania and many other states, auto plants, AI plants, plants of every type, which we would have never had if we didn't put the tariffs on. Did you see where Europe now is saying, I think we're going to start doing what Trump is doing? We're going to start putting on tariffs because we're getting our asses kicked. And but Scott, if you really think about it, it's trillions of dollars, not billions of dollars, right? So it's amazing. It's the smart people understand it. Other people are starting to learn, but the smart people really understand it. 1 year ago, under Sleepy Joe Biden, have you heard of him? You know, okay. Look, the King of Saudi Arabia told me this. He said, "Sir, 1 year ago, I was in Saudi Arabia. Somebody complained that I was making a foreign trip. I went to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE. I brought back $4 trillion. They said, he should be traveling. He should focus on home. What the hell do you think I'm doing? And 250 Boeing jets. I brought it back so much, everything. Then they say, he should, the stupid people, they say, he should be living in our country. Yeah, let's sit around and twiddle our thumbs. It's, no, it's sort of crazy, right? But 1 year ago, the King of Saudi Arabia said it. He said, sir, 1 year ago, you were a dead country. Dead. They were focusing on China. They were looking for, who's next on line, frankly. And he's a good man. And the Emir of Qatar said it. The UAE said it. The big company, the big smart country said it. We were a dead country 1 year ago. We were dead as a doornail. We were going down the tubes. And now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's nobody close. Yeah. And it's because of the election on November 5th, because that's when it started. You see what's happening with recruitment in the military. The enrollment is the highest we've ever had. And right before November 5th, we couldn't get anybody in the military. We couldn't get police. We couldn't get firemen. We couldn't get anybody. And after November 5th, that's when it started. Right now, we have the highest enrollment we've ever had, the greatest recruitment days we've ever had in the military. It's amazing. So it's November 5th, and it's also, again, it's a thing called tariffs. And I told you, I was about to say that, because I love the weave. You know what the weave is? Go here, bing, 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 bing. You always have to get back to the right location. But otherwise, they'll criticize you for straying from the speech. By the way, if I read for it's on the teleprompter, you'd all be falling asleep right now. But it's true, 1 year ago, and during periods of time, I'd say my favorite word is the word tariff. I love it more than any other word in the dictionary. And the fake news said, that's terrible. What about God? What about family? What about religion? What about your sons, your daughters? What about how terrible that's just. So I moved it back to fifth. I have it to fifth. And now I'm in no trouble with the fake news, They said, what about religion? They always find. You have to weave a little bit with the punches. You have to go, the boxers. You got to go with the punches. but it's been amazing what's happened, and it's been amazing. It's a transformation of our country. I have the greatest oil man anywhere in the world. I see him sitting right there, Chris Wright. I was going to put him in. Doug Barkham, he's great. He's interior. And I said, Doug, I want you to go to Energy. You're really fantastic. And Energy came from North Dakota. Big fracking place. They done really a great job. He was a great governor, I would say, right? Really great. And a great person. He's doing a fantastic job. I said, I want you to head up Energy, sir. I'd be good, but I'll tell you, there's one man out there in the whole world. There's one man out there who would be better than me. Who is it? A man named Chris Wright. Who the hell is Chris Wright? Give me a break. I never heard of the guy. Well, you never heard. He's the biggest there is. He's the smartest there is. The greatest oil man in the world. Chris Wright. I said, I got to see this guy. And after about 2 minutes, I understood exactly what Doug was saying. So I said, okay, Doug, you'll go to Interior. You work with, because interestingly, Interior owns all the land that has the oil. And he has all the expertise that drills the oil. And I said, we'll do a friendly merger here. This is pretty good. And that's what we did. And we're right now drilling more oil than we've ever done ever before. Prices are way down. We just had 4 states. It was just reported that 4 states had $1.99 a gallon. We're still moving. So I want to introduce Chris Wright. Stand up, Chris. Who would think, you look at him, he's a nice looking guy and all that. Who would think he's rated? I mean, he's the most talented oil guy. He can put his nose on the ground to tell you whether or not there's oil. Other people have to spend billions of dollars on machinery and equipment, and it doesn't work. So I want to thank you. You're doing a great job. And is it true? We are right now, energy overall, not only the oil and gas, we are right now involved in more energy and have more energy in the works by far than we've ever had before. Is that right? Yeah, not even close. Yeah. And I have no higher priority than making America affordable again. That's what we're going to do. And again, they caused the high prices and we're bringing them down. It's a simple message. If I had one message tonight, this is being covered like all over the world. This is crazy because I haven't made a speech in a little while. When you win, you say, oh, I can now rest. So Susie Trump, do you know Susie Trump? Sometimes referred to as Susie Wiles, Susie Trump. She's the great chief of staff at they don't use the word chief of staff anymore because of the Indians got extremely upset. But now the Indians actually want their name used, which is true. They never didn't want it used. But the chief of staff, and she's fantastic, she said, we have to start campaigning, sir. I said, I won. What do I have to do already? They said, we have to win the midterms, and you're the guy that's going to take us over the midterm. Where's Susan? Susie, come on, Susie. Look at Susie. Susie's the greatest. And who do we see there? We even brought our superstar today, Caroline. Stand up, Caroline. Isn't she great? Is Caroline great? When she goes on television, Fox, they dominate. They dominate when she gets up there with that beautiful face and those lips that don't stop, up like a little machine gun. She's got no fear. You know why she has no fear? Because we have the right policy. We don't have men and women's sports. We don't have to sell men and women in sports. We don't have to sell transgender to everybody. We don't have to sell open borders where the whole world is allowed to come into our country from prisons and everywhere. So she's got a little bit easier job. I wouldn't want to be the other side's press secretary, right? Thanks, Carolyn. Great job. We appreciate it. But that's our message. They gave you high prices. They gave you the highest inflation in history, and we're bringing those prices down rapidly. Lower prices, bigger paychecks. You're getting lower prices, bigger paychecks. We're getting inflation. We're crushing it, and you're getting much higher wages. I mean, the only thing that's really going up big, it's called the stock market and your 401ks. It's going up. But I say, and I said it the other day, and a lot of people misinterpret it. They say, oh, he doesn't realize prices are high. Prices are coming down very substantially. But they have a new word. They always have a hoax. The new word is affordability. So they look at the camera and they say, this election is all about affordability. Now, they never talk about it. They never talk. Thank you very much. They say I'm not allowed to run. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but that's okay. He said 4 more years. You see the new hat? We have 4 more years. 2028. We've all sorts of. Well, you know what? We have 3 years and 2 months to go. And you know what that is in Trump time? 3 years and 2 months is called eternity. We have a long time. We have a long time. But under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000 a year. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has already seen their wages increase by more than $1,300, and that's in just a few months. And for construction workers, it's $1,800 up versus $3,500 down, and I think their number is wrong. It's much lower than that. For miners, do we love miners? I love miners. I don't know how they do it going 10,000 feet under the ground and they wouldn't trade jobs with me. If I gave them a beautiful, magnificent penthouse in the middle of Manhattan, where I used to live, if I gave them the most beautiful penthouse, they wouldn't take it. They'd rather go 10,000 feet underground and dig. That's what they want. For miners, their wages went up $3,300, and we're bringing back coal. But my administration cannot talk about anything else except when they say the word coal, they have to precede the word by 2 words: clean, beautiful. So we only call coal clean, beautiful coal. Is that right, fellas? Because coal needs a little public relations help. It's a very powerful fuel. It's used by China. China makes all our windmills, but they don't have any wind farms. It's a little interesting, isn't it? Wind is the worst. That's a scam. They ruin your valleys. They ruin your peaks. And the most expensive energy, the only ones that get rich are the developers who make a fortune. You have to change your windmills. And most of them are made in China, but China has very few wind farms. You know why? Because they're smart. You know what they do have? A lot of coal. They love coal. So that's okay. But we have clean, beautiful coal, and we brought it back into vogue. We have nuclear, we have oil and gas. We have sort of everything. We don't approve windmills. We don't approve it. I'm sorry. We don't like things that kill all our birds. And then every time you put one up, only the guy that owns it makes a lot of money. Those guys, what a joke. And they are ugly. You're right, sir. But Democrats talking about affordability is like Bonnie and Clyde preaching about public safety. And they are really truly the enemy of the working class when they do it, because we're going to have a great energy policy. Our oil prices are coming down very substantially, energy prices. And honestly, with that, everything comes down, because there's nothing nearly in the category of oil. You wouldn't even know what second is. There are seconds and thirds, but it's so far down the list, we don't even talk about them. You get energy prices down, which we're doing. Again, the greatest amount of drilling, the greatest amount of fuel being produced right now in our country than ever before, by far. It's not even a contest there. When that happens, those prices come down. That's why you're seeing oil per barrel coming down nicely, very nicely. We don't want to go so rapidly because we want the people that produce it to keep producing it, but they're doing good. But it's amazing. But when energy comes down, your other prices come down too, all of your prices. And that's exactly We inherited the highest prices ever, and we're bringing them down. We inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. Think of that. And we're bringing them down rapidly. Their entire agenda is about robbing working people to fund their far left cronies and give lavish benefits to foreign migrants and illegal aliens. You can't do it. Look, we all have a heart. We don't like what's happening. But you know, when they allow them to come in, we have a border that, by the way, they don't talk about the border. Why don't you talk about the border anymore? The border, the border is, for months, it's closed. Actually, their people, because they're radical left, their people, radical left, they raped the border and everything. You know how many people came into the border over the last 7 months? You know what it is? Zero. Zero. Except for the ones that came in legally, right? Legally. When Biden and congressional Democrats had power, they blew up our economy, sent prices soaring. Like the poor guy, he didn't know what the hell was happening. Okay, I'm sorry. It wasn't him. It was the lunatics that circled. Yeah, it was the auto pen. You're right. I can't believe I didn't say that. I hate when you beat me to the punchline. I would not have. Well, I'll tell you, I'll give the fake news a little breaking news. So I believe, and I may be correct, we're checking this. We have a bad head of the Fed. We're going to be making a change. Fortunately, this guy said. But we have 4 members appointed by Sleepy Joe Biden. Which is better, Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? Historically, when I've done polls, from people, I do my own polls. I go to a big arena, we have 20,000 people. I say, which you like, Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? And I learned, I save millions of dollars. I don't have to do any polling, okay? Typically, Crooked Joe wins. I'm surprised. Because to me, he's a sleepy son of a bitch, who destroyed our country. If we didn't come along, and it's not me, it's all of us. If we didn't come along, this country was destroyed. I'll tell you, it would have been destroyed. But now Democrats in Congress want to take us straight back to the Bidenomics. They don't change. And I don't really talk about it because, for instance, I watched a congressman the other day on a television show. They were interviewing a Democrat. He was fighting like hell for men to play in women's sports, okay? And I was going to put something out. I was going to he's a well-known congressman. And I said, let's save it about 2 weeks before the election, right, David? We don't want to do it now. What the hell good does it do now? Let's save it for about 2 weeks because we don't want them to change. Just let them keep going. I think transgender for all is a great, great thing for the Democrats to be talking about. Transgender for every member in your family. If they're not feeling well that night, let's just change their sex. No, let's not talk about it. Let them go and let them fight to get these things. I think open borders are great. Where prisons are emptied into our country, right? Where people from all over the world being dumped into our country. The people that aren't wanted in their countries, by the way. I think that's a great, like Somalia. Welcome. Do we have any individuals from Somalia in the group? Please raise your hand. That's from Minnesota, That's called the Great Big Minnesota Scam with one of the dumbest governors ever in history. I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little shoe, the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military, they have no nothing, they have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing, they have no police. They police themselves, they kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country and she's always complaining about the Constitution allows me to do this. The concert, we ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in, right? She married her brother. Can you imagine if Donald Trump married his sister? Beautiful. She's a beautiful person. If I married my sister to get my citizenship, do you think I'd last for about 2 hours, or would it be something less than that? She married her brother to get in, therefore she's here illegally. She should get the hell out, throw her the hell out. She does nothing but complain. So now, and we have our savior in this room. His name is Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent. He's right. Because that very handsome man, by the way, if you're picking the Secretary of the Treasury, unfair, right? Honest and fair. Oh, if he's honest and fair, you know what he's going to find? It's great. I'd love to have that job. Maybe switch jobs with you. I'd love to have that job. They're going to get them the hell out of here. They hate our country. And she hates our country. And her friends hate our country. And AOC hates our country. They all do. And we have a new candidate in the great state of Texas, where I won Texas by more votes than anybody. And you have to understand, I'm being judged by these bad people back there, the fake news. So anything I say that's slightly off, I get like headlines. Donald Trump exaggerated. Donald Trump lied. They give me Pinocchios, Washington Post, a Pinocchio. They lie every day. They give me a Pinocchio. But think of this. If I make even the slightest mistake, what they do is they go after me. Everything I say is correct. We have now a new candidate. I won Texas by the largest vote in the history of Texas 3 times, okay? I love Texas. Just like I love Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Just like I love, honestly, every one of our states. I love all of our states, and we've done so well. I love all of our states. What? By the way, is this a different country now than we had a year and a half ago? Right? What a difference. Crime is way down, despite the fact that we have many, bad people entered our country. Many of them are being taken out. Ultimately, they're all being taken out. Washington, D.C., we had a tragic incident, as you know, with the 2 incredible people. What a terrible thing that was just 2 weeks ago, right? Just a terrible National Guard, terrible thing. Sarah and Andrew. Sarah passed away. She's looking at us from heaven, from above, and she was killed almost instantly. They kept her alive. Her parents came from West Virginia, another great state. Her parents are incredible. They couldn't believe it. She was 20 years old, perfect. She was just getting a little promotion. They were so proud of her. She was on her way up, and she was shot in the head, shot in the head. They were able to keep her alive long enough for her parents to come in from West Virginia and say goodbye to her. And Andrew is the second one, who's also from West Virginia National Guard, incredible people. And so they were both from West Virginia. And his mother's named Monica. And Monica's the most positive person I've ever seen. The night that he was so badly hit and the doctors gave him almost no chance, I called their hospital room and spoke to her. And she said, he'll be fine. Oh, no, I'm telling you, I'm praying. The whole country is praying. Sir, I'm telling you, don't worry about it. He's going to be fine. This is the mother talking to me. And the father's like devastated. He's an incredible guy too, both. And I went and invited them to the Oval Office, and they came in. She said, sir, he's fine. It was amazing, actually. And today, Monica, she said, we're all praying, and I'm praying. And then she called to say, sir, he moved his finger today. This is like 3 days later. He moved his finger. And today I got a call that he got up from bed. Do you believe that? He got up. He got up. Now, he didn't speak. He's not ready for that yet. I mean, just, you got hit in the head. But he got up, and boy, they're so happy. It's amazing. And the care that they've given him at the hospital, and the generals that have been there, the military that's been there, it's amazing. General Seward and others that she said that the level of love that your military has given to my boy, and by the way, Sarah's parents said the same thing. The love and the affection and the care that they're given, they can't even believe what's happened. But Andrew stood up today, and people even can't believe it. So the mother was amazing. Let's hope it continues. Look, it doesn't get much worse than what he did. Let's hope it continues. But that's an act of terrorism. This is a guy came from Washington, state of Washington, came across the country, and he wanted to kill people with a uniform. A whack job. Isn't it crazy? Think of it. He was also very badly injured. And they're fighting to save his life so that we can give him the death penalty. How crazy is that, right? They're fighting to save his life so that we can give him the death penalty. That's the way it really should work, right? The doctors have to do their job, and then the lawyers have to do their job. But it's an amazing country. Actually, Andrew's father said that. He said, they're fighting for him. I hope they save him, sir, because I hope he has to understand what he did, how bad it is. And he's going to, I think he will be saved. Actually, it looks like they will save him. He wasn't as badly hurt as Sarah or Andrew, but isn't it an amazing thing? They're working so hard to save his life, and we're going to put him up for the death penalty. Amazing, huh? Only in America. That's only in America. You know, in one way there's something beautiful about it, and another way it's a little crazy, right? In my first term, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. You know that we had the greatest economy in history, even with the COVID. COVID came and it really hurt the world. It was a gift from China, but China got hurt very badly too. We're getting along with China. They're buying a lot of our soybeans. Keep buying those soybeans there. You know, you heard all about magnets and rare earth. They were great. I met with President Xi. Scott was with me, and we had a whole group. Marco was there. Chris was there. We were all there, and we made incredible deals with China. We're getting along. Getting along is a good thing. You know, getting along is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a smart thing, and they're buying literally trillions of dollars worth of our products and all of that. And we had a very good meeting. Remember, the whole world was going to shut down over rare earth. That was 2 months ago, and that worked out very well. It all works out well. If you have a smart president, it works out well. If you have a dummy, it doesn't work. But we had a great economy. We had the greatest economy in our country's history, but we had what's called the greatest economy. This is the first term, probably ever of any country. Now, in addition to that, we rebuilt our military. We got the biggest tax cuts ever. We got the biggest regulation cuts ever. We had the best job numbers. We had a great first term. Or frankly, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be standing here because if I had a bad first term, you know, you might say, I like him. He's really good. But he had a lousy first term. You're not going to vote. You voted for me because we had a great, despite all of the Russia bullshit, despite all of the impeachments, you know, think of it. The impeachments, all of the crap we had to go through with these crooked Democrats. They're crooked as you could be. They're bad people. They're sick people. But despite all of that, we had an amazing first term. Our second term is blowing it away. It's blowing it away. So we're doing it again, but bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. There's more work to do, but today, 22 states, we're setting 22 total. Is that right, Chris? That just came out, that statistic. We're down lower than we've been in 7 years. Gasoline prices and oil prices, not just the three states that I talk about, with 199 a gallon. How would you like to have 199? You know, that's the equivalent of a very major tax cut. You know, when you get the energy prices down, it's really the equivalent, maybe even in many cases better than a big tax cut, which we gave you. We gave you the biggest tax cut ever in the first term. We then gave you, with the great big beautiful deal, which is phenomenal, we gave you something that's even better than we did. We gave you an extension of the biggest tax cuts and the biggest tax cuts ever, even bigger than the first term. And that's one of the reasons that your 401ks are through the roof. It's one of the reasons that the stock market is at the highest point. So rent prices are down, dairy prices are coming down very strongly. The cost of Thanksgiving turkeys was down by 33% compared to the Biden era. Biden era, you know what you did during the Biden era for Thanksgiving? You said, oh my God, this is terrible. Was a rotten Thanksgiving. And Walmart, I thank them. You know, they came out with a big, like sort of a numbers thing, a chart, and they had a 25% less. So that's pretty good. A Thanksgiving meal with all of the trimmings is 25% less under Trump than it was a year ago under Biden. That's a good thing. We're bringing it down, and we're coming down more. We're coming down a lot more. Takes a little time to come down. They were ruining. They're going to destroy our country. The cost of a Christmas ham, what? Don't forget. Eggs. I'm getting the eggs. But you're right. Remember with eggs where I had my first news conference. 2 days went by and I had a news conference. Unlike Biden, 2 years go by, he still didn't have. Remember? He'd walk off the stage. He's finished with his, sir, you're finished with your speech now. What? You finished what? And then he'd walk into a wall. What he did, and it wasn't him, it was some really smart, radical left lunatics. What they did to our country, we can never forget. We can never forget. But do you remember the first eggs? We remember the first 3 days. I just got there. Share it. These people, two of them were there, right there. Look at all those cameras you got. You got a lot of television, you know. Two of them were there. And I'm talking about, yes, I look forward to getting involved and doing great things. What about eggs? Eggs are down. They go, eggs. They said, the price of eggs is quadrupled. I said, oh, I didn't know that. Tell me about it. It's gone up like 4 or 5 times. Remember eggs right at the beginning? He's right when he says eggs. It went up like 4 times. It was like crazy. And they said, sir, don't buy. They came into the Oval Office, sir. You know, we have an Easter egg hunt. It's like, I think, for 150 years at the White House. Beautiful. He says, sir, we're going to buy plastic eggs this year. Plastic eggs. We don't have, enough eggs to go around for that. I said, you're going to buy regular eggs. And by the time Easter comes, we're going to have so many eggs, you're not going to know what to do. You're not buying plastic. And we didn't. And Brooke Rollins, our Secretary of Agriculture, did an incredible job. And eggs dropped like a rock. And we ended up buying a lot of eggs for lunch. But the price of eggs is down now 80% since March. Think of it. And we have 2 price charts. Do you remember the last time I pointed to a chart? My all-time, I don't care what these charts say. My all-time favorite chart was the chart I had in Butler. I said, let's look at the chart. Ding, ding. I don't care how good that chart looks. It's shit by comparison to the one in Butler. It's nothing. I like the Butler chart. Remember that was on how great employment was and all this, but I like it for other reasons. Look at that chart. It's good, but now I talk about the Butler chart. I don't even want to look at it. It doesn't mean anything. But look, Biden price increases and Trump price increases. Look at Biden. Up 37, 24%, 22, 21, 30.7, 30.7 again, 10.4%, 49%. Trump, The price is down 5.1, 4.2, 0.5, down 4%, 2 points, 2.9. Look at that. Our prices are coming down. Their prices, it's a hoax. They're just, remember they said the Inflation Reduction Act. Remember that? Billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. The inflation, and after they got it approved, because we had a few Republicans that went along with that whole hoax. And remember, we're going to pass the inflation. And I said, there's nothing to do with inflation reduction there. There's nothing to do with that. It's nothing, it had nothing to do with inflation either way, other than raising inflation, perhaps, because it was such a stupid. And then they admitted, they fought it like, oh no, this is inflation. After they got the thing passed, and they said, we agree, it has nothing to do with inflation. Screw you, we don't care. That's what it is. We're dealing with bad people. And the word affordability is the exact same thing. And I can't say affordability hoax because I agree the prices were too high. So I can't go to hoax because they'll misconstrue that. But they use the word affordability, and that's their only word. They say affordability. And everyone says, oh, that must mean Trump has high prices. No, our prices are coming down tremendously from the highest prices in the history of our country. And look at that chart. Let's see the next one. You have another one, I think, mortgage rates. Even with a lousy Fed chair. We have a lousy Fed chair. And by the way, it looks, you're going to have to check this, please. I just heard it could be that all 4 commissioners in the Fed signed by Biden, including Too Late. You know who Too Late is? Too Late, pal? Jerome Too Late. He's too late with his interest rates for a reason. He's a bad guy. He's not a smart guy, but he's a bad guy. Too Late. Is he going to lower rates a little bit finally? Did you see what Jamie Dimon, respected guy, said? You got to get the rates down, you schmuck. You know? But I hear that the Autopen may have signed those commissions. If they signed those commissions, now maybe I'm wrong, but we're going to check. Have you checked that? Are you hearing it? Who signed it? Did he sign it or did the Autopen sign it? I'm hearing the Auto. You know, you can't use the Autopen unless it's very strongly authorized and unless you show you know what the hell you're doing, which is impossible of it to show. So, I don't know. I think it's something we have to look into. Then you put people there that are not authorized to be there. I know I signed Chris Wright. I signed everything, but I signed Chris Wright. If I give you an Autopen, they could throw you the hell out of here, Chris. The difference is they would do it, you know? We try to be too nice. No, would you check that, Scott, okay? Because I'm hearing that the Autopen could have signed maybe all 4, but maybe a couple of them. We'll take 2. So look at that Biden. I love that laugh. Who's the woman with that great hearty laugh? That's a woman that likes Trump. That's a beautiful. Anybody can laugh with that happiness. She likes Trump. He likes Trump too with the hat. Yes, that's right. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you. So Biden, New Yearly mortgage cost increases, and Trump, New Yearly. Look, we went down with our rates. They went up with their rates much. That's a lot. So with us, you save $2,900, almost $3,000, and with them, you go up. It costs you $15,000. You don't hear that because the fake news doesn't tell you that. And these are charts. These are government charts. These are not made up by Donald J. Trump. These are government charts. Do you have a third chart? Because I like these charts very much. Not as much as Butler, but I like them. You have any other charts? Because so far they're playing quite well. Oh, look at that. Real wages. Look at that. Losses and Trump real wages gains for the typical worker. Wow. I mean, that's incredible, right? So look at the amount of loss. 18.5. Look, 106. What the hell is that all about? Is that even possible? Biden food. Oh, I see. No, that's you moved that chart very quickly. I said, what's going on with that chart? That was Houdini did that. As I was saying, boy, I really like the numbers having to do with real wages, but they play very well. But this plays very well too. So yeah, Biden food price increases. Trump, look at that. Look at that. So ours are decreases, all decreases, and they're moving down good. But look at eggs, 106%, and we got them down 15%. Look at those numbers. But you don't hear that from the fake news. You don't hear that. What do you think of that, David? I think we're gonna have to do something. We should impeach him, but he's gone. I guess we can't. By the way, if it were up to them, numbers like that, they would have impeached. Those numbers are terrible, and those are government numbers. So thank you very much, everybody. That's good. We have a couple of other charts we're going to show you too that are just. We're also working to bring down the cost of health care. Obamacare is a scam. Under Obamacare, trillions of dollars were given directly to health insurance companies. Their stocks are up 1,700% in a very short period of time. Would you say that's good? Obamacare's primary purpose was to pay off insurance companies. The insurance companies back the Democrats very heavily. I want to give billions of dollars directly to the people. I want to take all of the billions and billions and actually trillions, but over a period of time. And I want to give all of that money we give to the big, fat, rich insurance companies. I don't want to give them nothing. I want to give nothing to the insurance companies. I don't want to give all, because they're sucking our country dry with a scam by the Democrats. That was Obama, and I've always said it, Obamacare, but now you see the numbers because your premiums are going up on Obamacare and everything is forcing everything on. But we want the money go directly to the people. We want you to go out and buy your own health insurance, and you'll get much better health insurance at a much lower cost. Everybody knows this is the best way to go, but the Democrats, they're bought and owned by the insurance companies. So let's see how many of them have the guts to vote for this. We're putting in bills where all of that money, hundreds of billions of dollars, goes to the people to go out and buy your own healthcare. And everybody's different. Some are young people, some are older people. It's a much different, really, set of criteria. In 4 years under Biden, Democrats secured less than $1 trillion in new investments in our country. Think of that, though. And we've done in 10 months, we've set the all-time country record by many times. I'm going to get the exact numbers many times. 18, what are we? Are we over 18, right around 18 trillion? We could hit $20 trillion in the first year. With 10 months, 18 trillion versus less than 1 trillion. And I'll tell you what, it was going to go down if it wasn't going to be like even anything. It would have been negative because companies were pouring out of our country. The stock market is set 51. This is in less than 10 months. The stock market is set 51 all-time record highs. There's never been anything like that. Bum, 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 bum. It's set, think of that. It's set 51 all-time record highs in less than 10 months. That was as of about 3 weeks ago. Before I entered office, 100% of all new net jobs were going to migrant workers. Think of that. 100% of new jobs were going to migrant. These are government numbers, by the way. These are not Trump numbers. These are government numbers. Because they say, well, did Trump come up with these numbers? No, I didn't come up. I'm just migrant workers and illegal aliens got 100%. But since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American citizens. How about that? Now, how about that? Even I will give myself a hand. Now, think of it. 100% went to American citizens before 100% went to people that came into the country illegally. Again, many of them from prisons, many of them gang members, drug members, Tren de Aragua. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. That's why when they ask about the economy, your fake polls, how's Trump doing? You hear these numbers. How's Trump doing in the economy? I was interviewed by a very hostile group today. I said, why am I doing these people? They're hostile. But they were relatively fair because they can't be. I don't mind. I can be interviewed by anybody. Were you concerned if you do it badly? You don't want to be interviewed by bad people, but they can't do anything to you because the numbers speak. It was Politico. I did an interview today. It was a good interview because they have no ammunition. The one person said to me, "It's unbelievable. Our economy is unbelievable. There's never been anything." But the Democrats go out, prices are too high. Yeah, they're too high because they caused them to be too high. But now they're coming down. One of the most important ways we're defeating inflation is by unleashing American energy, including oil, gas, and clean, beautiful coal right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Did you know I went to school in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, right? The great Wharton School of Finance. I love the Wharton School. Became a little liberal, but these are minor details. But the Wharton School, one of the greatest schools in the world, I went here and loved it. I loved the school, and I love Philadelphia. Philadelphia's gotten a little rougher, but we're going to take it. And you have a great football coach, and you have a great running back, Saquon. I got to know Saquon a little bit, and my hand will never be the same. I patted him on the back. I said, "Saquon, let's go. You're my partner today. Let's go win." Being off, because it was like I hit a piece of steel. Said, "What the hell is with you, Saquon?" That's pretty. He's good, but he's a better football player than he is a golfer. Trust me. He's so strong. Those muscles are. He's just, but his football is great. His golf was very good, very good. But we won. We won our match, and you do have a great coach. I was with you, coach. I got a little streak on here, but that'll change. But he's a great coach. Well, you won the whole deal, right? I got to know him last year when he came to the White House, and I said, "This guy's he's a real leader." The players loved him, and you had some players that are just, really just fantastic guys. But you have a good football team. It's really good to watch. But for 4 long years, Biden and the Democrats tried to endlessly kill Pennsylvania energy jobs. They worked so hard to kill the jobs. They wanted wind all over the place, Let's go buy those windmills for millions of dollars each from China. Every time it goes around, you lose $15. Did you know that? That's all now. You're supposed to make money with energy. You're not supposed to lose money with energy. And everybody that's doing wind is in virtual bankruptcy right now. If you look at UK, I told the prime, he's a nice man, Starmer, Prime Minister. I said, you have a great energy source in the North Sea. Use it. Well, you're not going to be in office very long. The energy prices, they're putting wind all over Scotland, all over most beautiful fields in the world, Scotland, all over beautiful. Oh, we have some Scottish people here. Where the hell did you come from? We have Scottish people. But they're putting wind all over Scotland. The people are not thrilled with it. And it's costing them a fortune. They have the most expensive energy. And I said, I'm going to do you a favor. You could be there for a long time. Open up the North Sea oil. One of the greatest oil. And they like to say, well, it's very well depleted. No, it's good for another 500 years. And they haven't even found most of it yet. And if you look at Norway, they have a section of the North Sea, which in theory isn't as vibrant, and it's a very rich country. They have a tremendous worth because of the North Sea. But UK has to, if they don't go back to oil, I think a lot of bad things are happening to Europe. Their immigration policies are so bad. They're so bad. They're destroying our beautiful Europe. I love Europe. They're destroying Europe, and they better do something. I'll give them just some free advice. I'm focused here, but I give them free advice. They better be careful because immigration and energy are going to destroy Europe. On day one, I ended the war on Pennsylvania energy. I just terminated something that was insane. And we all love Elon. Elon was up here campaigning, right? But I said, Elon, I think electric cars are great, but not everybody wants an electric car. And I ended the insane electric vehicle mandate where everybody was supposed to have Everybody was supposed to have an electric car by the year like 2030 or some ridiculous year like that. And it's just not going to be that way. I don't think it'll be something like hybrid, something like gasoline powered. I mean, the nice thing about gasoline is we have 2,000 years worth of gas. We have more gasoline, we have more oil and gas than any country anywhere in the world. Is that right? And they want us to go to batteries. Let's go to batteries. We don't have battery content. So let's go to batteries, according to these morons that were in our country. Let's not use oil and gas, which we have more than any country in the world. Let's go to batteries. Well, we have to go to the Congo and get it from China. But I actually stopped the war with Congo and Rwanda, and they said to me, please, please, we would love you to come and take our minerals, which we'll do. But I stopped the Green New scam. It's a total scam. And, we had, they used to call it global warming, then they called it 15 other things, and none of them worked. So they came up with climate change. You remember? Climate change. Because you can't go wrong with climate change if it goes up. Remember global warming, and then the temperature started going down like a rock. Remember? We had global warming, and they sent that big, beautiful ship with all scientists on it, and it went into deepest Alaska. It went up through the ice. And the global warming, it was getting so warm, except unfortunately they had a bad few weeks. It got so cold that the ice just crushed it. We had to take those poor bastards up by helicopter. The scientists, they said, one guy was petrified of helicopter. He said, I have a choice, go down in the ice with the ship or go in a helicopter. He chose the helicopter. But we have a very simple policy, right, Chris? Drill, baby, drill. We have a simple thing. And natural gas production is booming. Coal mining is up by 2.4 million tons a month. And we're also reviving Pennsylvania manufacturing. And with our historic tariffs, steel production is roaring back. We're building steel mills all over the country. And U.S. Steel is coming back at a level never thought possible before. And I was up here and with the workers and with Selena. Do you know Selena? Does everybody know? And with some other people. We were up with some great people, and we spent the whole day, and they were determining whether or not they wanted to make which one of the deals. I went to the workers. I said, which one do you like? We picked the right one. As I said before, billions of dollars they're spending. And the steel workers are doing phenomenally better. I think you're going to do better than you've ever done before. You were losing all of your steel. If we didn't have tariffs, you would have no steel. We wouldn't have one steel mill anywhere in the United States. And that would be really bad for Scott, national security. We need the one thing you need steel. You can give up certain products. You can give up pencils. That's under the China policy. Every child can get 37 pencils. They only need one or two. They don't need that many. But you always need steel. You don't need $37 for your daughter. 2 or 3 is nice, but you don't need $37. So we're doing things right. We're running this country right. We're also putting thousands of dollars in the pockets of hardworking Pennsylvanians with the largest tax cuts in American history. That's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, no tax. And all of that kicks in on January 1st. It hasn't kicked in yet. I mean, we're doing great, and it hasn't kicked in yet, and it's amazing. And it's one of the reasons they said, sir, would you mind going on the trail? And I actually like it, I have fun. I haven't read practically anything off the stupid teleprompter. And then my speechwriters they're getting awards for some of the finest speeches, and I haven't even read them. And the award for the finest writer in the history of speech making, Ross. Where are you, Ross? Are you here, Ross? Where the hell is Ross? Ross, are you here? Look, first time I've ever introduced him. Ross, get over here. I got it. He's a young, handsome man. He's the greatest. Thank you, Russ. Very low key guy. Look how beautiful she is. Look how beautiful she is. She stood up. She wasn't supposed to come up, but when I looked at her, I said, "Come on up, Donna. Look how beautiful she is." You're not allowed to say that anymore. You know, in politics, if you say somebody's beautiful, that's the end of your political career. I say, I don't care. I don't care. Come on up, Donna. Oh, I'm so happy to meet you. Yeah, just say what happened.
Wow.
This is always dangerous.
Thank you, Trump. Thank you to President Trump for having me. This is like my sister dream, but I love you too. My sister Ann loved you too. But yes, with that money, that would help me with my daughter's tuition. Just
Make it great.
make it a lot easier,
Big difference.
for sure. Yeah, we love it. Thank you. Thank you.
The star is born. That's all I said. A star is born. Is your sister here? Is your sister here, Donna? Are you? Oh, hello. How are you? Good family. Well, thank you. Thanks, Donna. That's beautiful. Also with us is Marine Corps veteran Sean Downey, who now serves as a firefighter and a local first responder. Sean worked over 400 hours of overtime. That's a lot. And thanks to no tax on overtime, he'll take home thousands of dollars extra, which he plans to use to buy a first home. And thank you. Where's Sean? Good, Sean. Good. So you're going to use that money well, right? That was not an easy one to get approved. You know, it all went through Congress. I had to really push hard. I was not nice. I was not nice to get you that money, but you're going to use that money to get a house, right? A first house? Good. Well, you have a great future. Thank you very much. And here as well is Megan Hemhauser from Cresco, Pennsylvania. Megan's husband works 10 to 15 hours of overtime a week operating heavy equipment while she bartends and waits tables at night and homeschools her two children during the day, getting more and more prevalent. Homeschooling getting more and more. It's happening. That's okay. But thanks to no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, more than a quarter of their income will be tax-free. Megan, do you want to come up? Come on, Megan. Come on up.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much. As President Trump said, I'm a mom, a wife. I homeschool my two brilliant children. And the no tax on tips is incredible. No tax on overtime is incredible for my husband. And it all comes back to our family. It saves us, and it's for the future of our children. And it's been such a blessing to be home with them and to have them here with me tonight. And thank you for everything, President.
You know what's great? So she had these notes, right? Not notes, it's a speech. She never even looked at it. She was great. It's much better when you don't have to read it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. So I just thought, great job. That's a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
That's great. Never looked at the note. She never looked at those notes. That's pretty cool. I have a lot of professionals sitting right here. They'll get up and read a speech. But Megan didn't have to do that. Another key part of our tax cuts is known as Trump accounts. Under this new program, the federal government will be creating an investment savings account for every single newborn American child with $1,000 to be invested and grow over the course of their life, right at the beginning of birth. friends, family, employers, and loved ones will be able to add thousands of dollars a year. And it's like a trust fund for every American child. It's going to be something, and it's really exciting. And I want to thank Michael Dell and his beautiful Dell computer. Go out and buy a Dell computer. He got it started. He put up $6,250,000,000. And he started with nothing. Think of that. And he just put that up, 6,250,000,000. Michael Dell, thank you wherever you may be. Michael is probably in Texas watching us right now. And his beautiful wife, they're a great couple. His wife is incredible. Every single Democrat in Congress voted against these unbelievable benefits for American families. Why would you vote against? Money is being put up, big money is being put up. And you know, these kids, when they get to be 18, 20, 21, 30, 35 years old, they can have $100,000, $200,000, and they're going to be rich. I mean, they're going to feel rich, and they're going to be watching it grow, and they may be helping it grow. Who knows? You never know. But it's going to teach them. It's going to be a great thing. This was Michael and some other people's ideas. They wanted to do this, and they spoke with their wallet too. They put up a tremendous amount of money. So I just want to thank Michael Dell, his wife and family, and everybody else that was with us the other day. It was a big day, and it's a big event. And we're joined today by some of your representatives who voted to put more money in your pockets. And these are great people. And I introduced David. I'm going to ask him to stand up again, because David McCormick is a really great man in the truest sense. He won a race, you know, he really did well the first time too, but some bad things happened, right? And very few people are willing to do that again. And to be honest, if he would have lost, I know his wife, she's a beautiful woman, extremely into the social scene, but respected by everybody. She would have left him if he lost. And I told her, Dina would have left him. She's that way. Hey, we can't help it. That's the way she. So I said, David, you're taking a big risk if you run again, because if you lose twice, your wife is leaving you. And he wasn't worried. Stand up, David McCormick. Yeah. He was so great. He followed me every single time I spoke. He was there, and he got up and he'd speak. And I'll tell you, we had big crowds, David, and the audience listened to you. In fact, they liked him more than they liked me in some cases. I was thinking about, let's keep him off the stage. But they really loved you. And you've been a great senator. And you have a great wife. Thank you very much. Thanks. And a congressman who's been a warrior, and a couple of guys that have just been unbelievable. But Rob Bresnahan, would you stand up there? What a job you're doing. Young, handsome, central casting. Great job. Thank you very much, Rob. Great job. And another one. These are warriors, these two guys. But the three of them. And then you have the senator, but the three of them. Ryan McKenzie. Ryan, thank you. And it's hard for me to explain how hard they work, but they were working so hard getting that big, beautiful bill. I call it the great, big, beautiful bill passed. You know, that was supposed to be in 17 bills. And I actually said it because I'm not that experienced. I haven't been doing it that long. Believe it or not, I haven't been doing this. I had one man, he was a congressman, and we had a big meeting, and he was telling us all how to do something. And I said, I disagree with that. He said, sir, I've had 22 races, and I've won 20 of them. I know what I'm doing. And I said, sir, I've had 3 races, and I've won all 3 of them. And mine was for president. And he said, all right, you got me on that. He's actually a good man. He got a little carried away one day. But that's because these guys wanted to do it my way too. So we had 17 bills prepared. Dan Muser, right? Stand up, Dan. What a great guy. Stand up, Mrs. Muser. Dan is a very powerful congressman, but he's a great person, great man. All three of these guys, they're warriors, and your senators, like, I mean, very few people that I've ever met that would take that risk. It was a risk. You know, it takes guts to run for public office, right? It takes guts. A lot of guys talk, including me. I talked about this for a long time before I did it. It takes courage to run for any public office because, you know, you can be very embarrassed. You can ruin your life. Look at me. I got impeached. I got indicted. I mean, I was never going to be impeached, indicted. I got indicted like 87 times with these stupid. See, they should have indicted me once. They would have had a better chance. With all of the, I used to get up. It was very important. I'd get up and say, "Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. I got indicted again." And nobody believed the whole thing. And then I'd explain it, and it turned out to be a hoax. I mean, just it was a total hoax. They're very, very bad, very, very bad people. But Dan Muser has been a great congressman. He was thinking about running for governor. I think he would have won if he ran, but you know, in a selfish way, I like you in Washington even better. So I want to thank you very much. Right. Great job. Thank you. That's even more important. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks as well to Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright. You guys have been good. Thank you. I introduced them, but I want to introduce because they have been so good. The major factor that fueled inflation under Biden was the invasion of 25 million people. Think of this: 25 million people came into our country totally unchecked and unvetted, mostly across our southern border. 10 months ago, we inherited the worst border in the history of the world, and now we have the strongest border in the history of our country. We've never had a border this. And people don't talk about it. You notice they don't talk about it. When I was running, it was the biggest thing. And before I was running, that's all they talked about, the border, the border, the border. And now I fixed it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Even my people, they say, "Sir, don't put it in your speech." Why? Because nobody cares about the border. You fixed it. No, but you know how bad that is? Because they forget what you did. We had a border that was so bad. Everybody, criminals, everybody pouring into our country. Anybody. You know, the Congo, I just settled that war. The Congo, their entire prison population was sent into our country. Venezuela, their entire prison population was dumped into our country. And now we have the tightest border we've ever had. We have one of the strongest borders anywhere in the world. I would say there's one country that has probably a stronger border. You know what that is? You know what that is? North Korea. North Korea, I think, has a stronger border. But other than North Korea has 7 walls of wire, and each of them has 1,000,000 volts of electricity going through it. So if you get over one, you're dead for the next one. If you get over one, you're in very bad shape. If you get over 2, you've set a record. So I don't know, Scott. I think we give North Korea the safest border, don't you? You know, but ours is pretty safe. And I want to thank Pete Hegseth and the military for helping us. And again, for 7 months in a row, we've had 0 illegal aliens that have been admitted to the United States. Do you remember when Biden said, "I need legislation to do that"? And I said, "No, what you need is a new president." I didn't get legislation. Scott, did I get legislation? I said, "Close the freaking border right now." And they did it. Because our border patrol is incredible. ICE is incredible. Poor ICE, they take a lot of abuse, but they're the toughest people. And again, Washington, D.C. now is, we had the tragedy, you know, which was a terrorism tragedy, but we have Washington, D.C., the safest it's been in 52 years. Think of that. And a year ago, you couldn't walk down the street in Washington, our nation's capital. And now restaurants are booming, restaurants are opening. The restaurants were closing, now the restaurants are opening. You can't get into a restaurant in Washington, D.C. Biden and the radical left Democrats turned Pennsylvania into a dumping ground for hundreds of thousands of migrants from the most dysfunctional places on earth, like Somalia, and gave them billions and billions of your taxpayer dollars. But we didn't really give it. it was stolen. And those people should go to jail. Jail. And if they don't go to jail, Scott Bessent is toast. He's toast. I'll tell you, that could be the easiest case. I think it's too easy for you. Just give it to your assistants. They can do that case. These people are crooks. They don't work. 91% unemployment. Okay? It's a scam. And it's headed up by the crooked congresswoman. Whatever happened to her brother, by the way? Is he still around? Where is he? Yeah, he went low. He went low. He's not happy. Would you look into him too, Scott? Would you find out the brother, please? She said, how dare you say that about me? It's discrimination. Let me tell you, black people love Trump. I got the biggest vote. I got the biggest vote with black people. They know a scam better than anybody. They know what it is to be scammed. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We did great. Thank you. I like this guy. Thank you. We got a tremendous black vote. We got a tremendous Hispanic vote. We got a tremendous, because we speak the truth. They get it. Everybody gets it. Everybody, pretty much everybody gets it. And they know we're the real deal. Our country's become so strong. And it's such a 10 months. Think of it. It's not even a year. It's like, if we keep going like this, I don't know if we can do that. But if we keep going like this, there'll be nothing ever in history like it. Already, they are saying better than Lincoln, better than Washington, better than anything. The best 10 months ever in the history of the presidency. And for the first time in 50 years, we now have reverse migration, which means more jobs, better wages, and higher income for American citizens, not for illegal aliens. And you know what? We all have a heart. We want to take care of people. But these people are getting killed on the walk up. They're dying. They're dying. They have to go through jungles. We don't realize this. They are going through areas that are not, it's not possible to get through some of the areas. They're going through jungles down in the Central America, South America, some of these areas with snakes, with crocodiles and alligators. They're getting just eaten alive, and they're getting beat up by some of the bad people. Women are being raped. Remember when I started, I said we're going to stop the raping of women in those caravans. A name conceived of by me, because it's a caravan, thousands of people, 10, 15, 20,000 people coming up. The women in those caravans are being raped in unprecedented numbers by other people in the caravans. By them not coming, they're not even trying to come now because they know they can't get through. We're doing a tremendous service because they're not being killed and they're not being raped and they're staying back in their country where they've been. And they've been taken care of. I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shithole, you did. Remember I said that to the senators that came in, the Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. So they came in and they said, this is totally off the record. Nothing mentioned here. We want to be honest because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting. And I said, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let's have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships. But they don't go after our ships. You know why? Because that same missile that knocks the crap out of them, that with the drug dealers from Venezuela and others. That same missile, think of it, from hundreds of miles away, we have the greatest military, we have the greatest equipment, we make the greatest equipment in the world. I bought more equipment. We rebuilt the military the first term. Then Super Joe gave a lot of it to Afghanistan, but it was a lot, but relatively little, but we're still adding to it a lot. But I'll tell you what, I'm looking at this big tough guy with the red hat on, I like that guy. But stand up, let me just see what you look like. Nobody's gonna mess with him. Okay. He's central casting. Thank you very much. Very good. I see he's enjoying it. I like people that enjoy things because you gotta smile about this whole thing. But that same missile system that hits the center of everyone. Remember, every boat that gets hit, we don't want to do that, but every boat that gets hit, we save 25,000 American lives. Every boat. And when you view it that way, you don't mind. But we have that same system aimed at Somalia, and if they go and want to raid our ships, and not our ships, worldwide shipping, they used to go and take the ships. When one or two of them get hit, they say, we'll pass. So we've cut down drugs, 94% coming in from sea. 94, right? 94% music. 94% music. That's pretty good. We're trying to figure out who the hell are the other 6%. They're finding it very hard to get people to navigate those waters. The problem is nobody wants to go fishing anymore either. They don't want to get in boats. They don't want anything to do with boats. I think we've destroyed the boat market. Other than that, it's been very effective. We've cut it down 96%. Think of that. And now we're going to do land because the land is much easier. And it's even more prevalent. If you don't share our values, contribute to our economy, and assimilate into our society, then we don't want you in our country. We don't want you. I mean, Ilhan Omar and the people from Somalia, they hate our country. And they think we're stupid people, which actually, when they allow that to happen, they are. That's headed by Governor Walz, one of the dumber people around. No, but think of it. He's given not like peanuts, billions. These are people that don't work in their own country. Their own country's a failure. They have no money, and yet they come into our country and steal tens of billions of dollars. How stupid are we to allow that to happen? They can't earn 10 cents in their country. They come over here and rob. Are we that easy? Are we that easy to allow a thing like that to happen? That's up to you. And look at what's going on in North Carolina. We have a big Senate race. We have a fantastic man, Michael Whatley, running as a Republican, head of the Republican Party, won the presidential election for us. He's running against a governor who's a radical left lunatic. And Michael should win. I don't know. It's hard to beat a two-term governor, but the governor didn't do a good job. But what's happening in North Carolina? Two of the most vicious murders that anyone's ever seen in Charlotte. And it's all run by the Democrats. What's going on there? The young lady from Ukraine, you saw that one where a guy from behind just cut her throat on tape. Can't even watch it. What's going on in North Carolina? You need a Republican running that, and you've got to have a Republican senator elected. If you don't, and Michael Whatley's running, he's going to be great. So we have people from North Carolina here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wasting so many words. It's a Senate race, but you agree with me, I think, Mr. Senator. Together, we've achieved more in less than 1 year than most other administrations have achieved in 8 years. And we're restoring law and order to our cities, backing the men and women of law enforcement. I love law enforcement. And standing with the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol. We've ended political correctness in our military. We've renamed the Department of Defense into the Department of War. I said to Pete, Pete's a tough cookie, and I said to Pete, I used to do interviews with him, and all he wanted to talk about was the military. I said, this guy's great. Smart guy, great education, great everything. The press gave him a hard time, real hard time, but he's really proven to be very, very good, very, very strong. Young, strong, smart. We have Raisin Cain, the great general who knocked out ISIS for us in 4 weeks. Raisin Cain, they said it was going to take, right? They said it was going to take 5 years, sir. Or, sir, it'll take 5 years. He said, sir, I can do it in 4 weeks. Did it in 3 weeks. Knocked out ISIS. He did a hell of a job in knocking out the Iran nuclear capability. We knocked out the Iran nuclear capability. Now compare that to Jimmy Carter, the Democrats. Well, he was a nice man, but he was. But we don't really want a nice man. You want to have somebody that's capable. You know, they're talking about Greg Gutfeld. He's a very good guy. Greg Gutfeld, very good. But Greg Gutfeld he didn't like me very early in this. He didn't like me. But I don't know, he just didn't like me. And it was all right, but, it's okay, I'll live with it. Then all of a sudden he started saying, I don't like this guy, but everything he says, he gets it done. Then he gone a couple of months later and he started going like, I'm starting to like that guy better. Every damn thing he says, he gets it done. And it's all really good, common sense, tough stuff. I've never seen anything like it. Everything he says, he gets done. And then he started to really like me. And then we did an interview. It was supposed to be a 10-minute interview. It lasted for 2 hours. There was a good chemistry. And he did 5 shows, all 5 shows that week. And he got the highest ratings that anyone's ever gotten in that time slot. And he became legendary. I'm happy for him. But there was something. But he said, during the process, he said, so would I rather have a guy as president who was really a nice guy who I liked, or a guy who I can't stand that gets everything done and turns our country into a great country again? And he was smart. It was a very interesting process, but he's a great guy. He's doing really well. Totally dominates the late night. Totally dominates. I guess those morons that they have at the end. Kimmel. What band people? In 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Kosovo, Serbia, Pakistan, and India. They were going at it. Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia. You didn't know about that. Armenia and Azerbaijan. And I hate to say this, one named Cambodia, Thailand, and it started up today. Tomorrow I have to make a phone call, and I think they'll get us. Who else could say, I'm going to make a phone call and stop a war of 2 very powerful countries, Thailand and Cambodia? They're going at it again. But I'll do it. So we're making peace through strength. That's what we're doing. We've cut federal funding for any school that pushes critical race theory or transgender insanity. No more money. We banned the chemical surgical mutilation of children. Think of this. Can you imagine if you were up here 15 years ago? We have banned the chemical mutilation of children. They'd say, this guy's crazy. We actually had to ban it. But can you imagine that? Or I have stopped men from playing in women's sports. They say, this guy's crazy. Men don't play in women's sports. Stop men. Well, that's another thing. We stopped men from playing in women's sports, and we restored the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley in beautiful Alaska. And I renamed the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. So in conclusion, from the shipyards of Philadelphia to the steel mills of Pittsburgh, these are great places. Maybe some of you don't even realize it, you get used to it a little bit too much sometimes, but these are great places. From the union halls of Scranton to the kitchen tables of millions of Pennsylvania families, we're bringing prosperity and pride surging back to this magnificent Commonwealth. We're bringing it surging back here hot. Our country's hot and you're hot. Together, we're repairing 4 years of disaster by the radical left Democrats in Congress and by the worst president in the history of our country. He is. I mean, it's not a question about that. He's just the worst president in the history of our country. The damage thank you very much. The damage he's done to our country is something we can never forget. After just 10 months, our border is secure, our spirit is restored, Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected again. And the United States is back. All these people, right? All this music, all of my friends right up here. Every single thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. He looks like The Rock. You look like The Rock. Stand up. Let me see what you look like. Yeah, look at that. The Rock would be very happy with that look. Every single day of this administration, we will keep on working for the hardworking American citizens, people that love our country. We will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. And with your help, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you. We love you, Pennsylvania. Merry Christmas.
Wow, you guys. Trump really did give a long message. So I'm not going to hold you too long. We're going to look at the poll. Are Americans better off with Trump's economy? 40% said yes, and 60% says no. So most people believe that, more than half believe that this country is not better off with Trump's economy. So he's saying by the end of, let's see, it was how many people? It was 2,024 people voted in this poll. So that's a substantial amount of people that voted. So 40% are blind. That's what someone said. So I don't know. As far as right now, people don't feel it. Everyday Americans do not feel that the country is better now. Especially, you got to remember, we just went through a shutdown. People just went back to work. Your TSA workers and different people, they just went back to work. So they were impacted. It was what, 42 million people that were suffering from food insecurities. And this administration did not want to provide SNAP benefits to 42 million people during the government shutdown. So not only weren't people getting paychecks for almost 2 months because Congress was out for like 8 weeks, but people were not able to purchase food. So even people who have never been in a food line was in a food line, and then we had following it, we have Thanksgiving, and now we have Christmas coming up. So I think it's too soon really to do this economy tour because people are not feeling it in their pockets. Because it's one thing to say we're doing better, it's another thing to actually living the results of us doing better. Like, people want to see significant decrease in like grocery prices. I don't think that's going to happen. That's going to continue to go up. People are complaining about jobs, about living wages, about the economy in general. So until all those promises that have been made to Trump by all these different corporations, and from the Saudi Arabia president, from Saudi Arabia prince, from Qatar, from all these companies like Hyundai, Apple, everybody's promising all these factories are going to be built in the United States of America. But right now, Trump is talking about 100% of people that have been hired have been American, but more Americans have been fired under this administration. All those federal workers were Americans. Those are living wage jobs. So you can't fire more people than that are hired. And plus, right now, I think it was too soon for Doge to get rid of those jobs, because you should have had replacement jobs. Those people are still unable to match the salaries that they lost. When you lose a job, you're not trying to go backwards, you're trying to move forward in life. So until the government match these jobs as opposed to coming to the country from all these different promises, I think people are going to become less supportive of Trump. Like Trump got a, MAGA, they support him. Some of them are unhappy. You got people like Marjorie Taylor. She's like resigning because she said, well, Trump no longer support her because of the Epstein files that she was speaking out for the women. But you have like Fetterman is more Republican than she is. So it's like a reversal. So I think we can meet in the middle. The people are pleased with some things and then they're displeased with things. And that's with every administration. You have the good, the bad, and the ugly in every administration. Because I was completely unhappy with Biden's administration and I helped support him. I helped get him elected. All those Democrats I voted for, I campaigned, gave rallies, donations, phone banking, canvassing, like my position was ahead really, and I had hundreds of thousands of people at times that I was representing. So sitting on executive boards, the whole 9 yards, meeting Biden, all the whole 9 yards, all of it. But I was disappointed because I never voted for open borders. And I think that the illegal immigrants got a bad rap because we opened up the borders and we told them to come in. But I didn't sign up for that. I didn't know that was the plan. I thought that they were going to be about Americans, and they weren't. So a lot of stuff was going on. That's why people voted for Trump to be in office, because a lot of people that normally wouldn't have voted for him to be in office, like he said, he had like I think since Reagan, and he probably surpassed Reagan in getting the black votes. Hispanics votes voted unprecedingly, abundantly for Trump. Your Asians, your indigenous, the Indians, all these different ethnic groups voted for Trump to be in office because that's how much that this country had fallen to the bottom of the barrel, that we were not being respected in other countries. We were just giving out money to Ukraine, like $350 billion, but we wouldn't take care of 42 million Americans that suffer from food insecurities. It doesn't make sense. We could get $40 billion for Argentina while we have 42 million people suffering from food insecurities and the government shut down. But we're going to get 12 billion to the farmers, but then Argentina is now selling to China, so they're not buying from our soil farmers. That's who they normally sell their products to. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on. So in comparison, 12 billion does not match 40 billion, but they're going to be selling, Argentina going to be selling to China the soybeans instead of from our farmers. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on that we have to look at as Americans, regardless who is in office. As Americans, we have to hold our leadership responsible that they are putting America first and not talking game. Like they said, he said, black people know game. Yeah, we hear game. We know game, and there's a lot we can say that we don't say. But we hear game. But what all of us want as Americans, we want to do well. We want to prosper. We want our children to prosper. We don't want the rich continue to be rich and the poor gets poorer. And then they take away living jobs and tell you that you're lazy and you don't want to work. Because that's a lie from hell. People want to work, but people are working. Those 42 million people, guess what? They were seniors, disabled, and vets, and working poor. So you have people working, but you can't make money working for McDonald's. How are you going to pay when the cheapest rent you can get for an apartment, if you can find $1,000, not including utilities, gas money, and all that? McDonald's minimum wage, what is that? $7.25 an hour? What's that a day? What are they making a day? $60, $70 a day? That's tax. No one can live off of that. So it's unsustainable. So they're working two jobs and they still don't have enough money to take care of their families. So when people they got this impression that people don't work or don't want to work, that's a lie from hell. People are working. But you need living wage jobs that provide, like you go in for 8 hours and you give a good day's work, and you can own a single home, you can own a car, you can send your kids to college, you can go on vacation with your little ones. That's what living the American dream. And you can't do that when we fight each other and the rich is not going through. Congress didn't go through food insecurities. They don't have to worry about healthcare. Guess what? The government's going to shut down again probably in January. They're going to go through this all over again. They just put a band-aid on it, opening back up the government to pass, what the legislation that Trump wanted passed, but the problems is still there. What about all the people that are going to get priced out of health care? That's what this is about. It's coming up again. The end of January. Right now, they're supposed to be voting on it. They're not going to pass it. They have to extend Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, or whatever you want to call it, because 10 years, to be honest, the Republicans have not put anything on the table to replace Obamacare that's better. But we don't want Americans not to be able to go to the doctor when we can afford to have 14 million homeless non-citizens coming to this country that was put on our welfare because they came in with the clothes on their backs. So guess who took care of them? We did. We took care of them. And we still take care of them. Not at the extent, because Trump been trying to crack down on it, but when you come in with the clothes on your back, they needed everything. They had welfare. They hit your Social Security, your Medicare, your Medicaid, your schools. They were going to college off of us. They're going to public. You know how much for each child to go to public school, and then the teachers couldn't teach American kids because the kids couldn't speak English. So our kids been dumbing down. They dumbed down from COVID. Now they dumbed down even more. They can't even compete with the rest of the world because they're learning. And Trump said he wants 600,000 Chinese students to come in, and we want I forget what country or whatever to come in, probably China for some batteries. But I'm like, let them send in the instructors that can teach Americans how to manufacture the batteries. We want American jobs, not any old jobs. It's a difference. I've always been union. We're talking about living wage jobs, money that you can live off of. That's what we need. And now what's going on is like everybody's capitalizing off of us around the world. But every time it comes to Bank of America, guess who's is closed for? Bank of America is closed for Americans. We're good for dishing out all the money to the rest of the world. That's all we do. You get $1 billion, you get 350 billion, you get 40 billion, you get 60 billion. Oh, Taliban, we're gonna give you $40 million a week cash payment since 2021. The Taliban. That's what Biden started. How much cash is untraceable. But when it comes to Americans, then Americans are like, oh, they need to work. Talking about other Americans. But we're giving money to everywhere in the world. We give money to, we take care of. But who helps us? You know what our debt is? You know what the debt is? $37 trillion. We have more. The next country, I think it's Japan. If I'm not mistaken, y'all can correct me. The next closest deficit close to ours is Japan, and they're 15 trillion. We doubled it, more than doubled it. We have gone in no return debt, and now we're printing money. And guess what? When we print money, that's what they're passing now. Listen, you guys, your dollar is becoming worthless because the world is buying gold, silver, and precious metals, and they're deflating the value of the dollar. So we're printing money, and us printing money, guess what? It's hurting. It's going to hurt Americans. The government's printing money. That's terrible. And I'm gonna have Birch Gold on here. Peter, he's going to come in here and he's going to explain to you guys much better than I ever could. This is something I'm doing. That your money sitting in the bank, paper money, that money is deflating. And because we're printing money, the dollar is going to go down considerably even more. So you better really pay attention to your finances. So I'm going to announce the date that I'm going to bring him on. It probably will be within the next 2 weeks from Birch Gold, that they can explain this to you, what's happening to the American dollar, what's happening because we're printing money and how the value is going down. and like buying houses and the interest rate, this is not great. A lot of stuff that's going on that we don't pay attention to that's being done in front of our faces. But as long as like Trump is the president of all Americans, the only thing I wish Trump would stop doing is acting like he's governing, he's the president of only Republicans and MAGA. He has to understand that he's the president of all Americans, and the decisions he makes affects all Americans. You can't separate us. We all live mixed up in the same communities. We're in it like, so when you thought they voted Republican, they voted Democrat. The person you thought that voted Democrat voted Republican. You don't know how people have voted. They can say anything they want to tell you, but they have to represent us. And I noticed that he's using a lot more foul language. That to me, you need to use a dictionary. That's why people go to school. I don't want you talking like you from the streets, from the hood. I want you to speak to us in a clear, concise manner and use a dictionary. It doesn't make your point come across any clearer. Actions speak louder than words. I don't want another politician getting up there telling us how bad inflation is, how bad interest is, how bad the economy is, how bad the past administration, this administration. I don't want to hear that. You know what I want to hear? Results. I want to hear actions. I want to see actions. What are you going to do about it? What are you doing about it? I don't want to hear the complaining and saying how bad it was, because things are not better and it takes time. You got to give him grace, Trump some grace, because what has been done, he did inherit a bad economy, inflation was sky high, so he did inherit a lot of stuff, and it doesn't happen overnight, but he has to pay more attention to everyday Americans. We don't need to hear all the bad words or how bad Democrats are, how bad Republicans are, all that. It doesn't do anything for us. We need people of action, and we shouldn't elect anyone else that's going to give us another song and a dance talking about the other party. Y'all should be tired of hearing that. I mean, it's tiresome. I'm tired of hearing them fight, everybody fighting each other, and nothing's getting done for us. But we fast to take care of the world. We need to take that same energy for Americans that we have for the rest of the world. We shouldn't have vets living on the streets. We shouldn't have homeless Americans on the streets when we could bring in 14 plus million non-citizens, put them on welfare and provide luxury apartments for them, and food and home and shelter and licenses and everything. They receive everything for us, and they give us no respect. The ones that's been here, they respect us. The one that came in, they feel entitled. You know how you do a child, you give a child everything, then they don't respect you. They came with their cultures. They didn't try to adapt to American culture. They think they better than Americans. They think we're stupid. A lot of them, look what they gave. Look what y'all giving us everything. Y'all get nothing. That's what they say. Y'all get nothing. We don't like the way things have gone down, but we need to do better as Americans, and we need to put people in office that's focused on making it better for all of us. You cannot focus on one group of people. You can't focus on all white people. You can't focus on all Black people, Asian, indigenous, Indian. It doesn't work like that because we're a blended country. You can't focus, but you got to do right by all of us. And Trump has to realize he has to stop talking like he's still running for president. You are the president. You're the president of the United States of America, and you have to do right by all Americans, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of how they voted, regardless if you don't like Democratic leaders. Those Democratic voters are still, you have to still take care of them as well. So he has to stop talking like he's still running for president and talk like he's the president of the greatest country in the world. That's how he has to carry himself. He's still battling a party that he's already won the election. Now we got to deal with it, but we need to deal with it the best way we can. All Americans, all this divisiveness, keep us angry, is not putting money in our pockets. is not putting food on the table, and we're not benefiting from them arguing and putting down, like you go on Fox News, they're putting down Jasmine Crocker, AOC, or Bernie Sanders, or whoever. You go and that's now they call it, and they're putting down Trump, they're putting down Pete Hegseth, they're putting down Ron DeSantis, Pam Bondi. Everybody's putting everyone down, but we got to realize that Americans need to stick together. If we could support all these people that came into this country, there's no way on God's green earth that any American should still be on the streets in this cold weather. We're having freezing cold weather throughout the nation. People are getting snow. People don't have shelter. And I found out that we can take care of our homeless when we open those borders and allow all those millions of people to come into our country, that we provided for every last one of them. But we still overlook American citizens. I have a problem with that. And I will always have a problem with that, because we can take care of the homeless, we can feed the poor, and we can do better by our United States citizens, because we're proving it by when we open up the borders. So we can do better, and we need to do better, and we should demand better. And if any Black people on here, when you go and vote for what's best for your community, for your nation. Don't just vote straight Democrat, something that we've been doing for 60 years, and not looking at policies, not looking at how's it going to benefit us, what are they doing for our communities. You got to vote for your interests, like all other communities, they vote for their interests. We got to stop giving away our votes. We got to, anybody that's vote, look at who's running. Even your mayors, your school board, your judges, your governors, all races matter. And we have to pay attention that we're putting the right people in office. So things that's been happening in this country has plummeted downhill so much. Even with Trump 4-year term, even if whatever he does, he cannot bring the country back in 4 years. It's not, nobody can. We're $37 trillion in debt, and we're still accumulating debt, and we're printing money. And now we're trying to bomb Venezuela. The war in Russia and Zelensky and Putin, that war is not ending. It's not going to end, because now Putin is emboldened because they allow it to go on too long. It shouldn't have taken Trump to come into office. They said, let's end the war. They should have ended the war as soon as it started, or stopped it from happening in the first place. When Kamala went over there to Russia, they should have stopped the war. So he's not going to be able to do what he wants to in 4 years. There's no way he could dig this country out of the hole that it's in. It's impossible. But I don't know, you guys, if y'all felt as though Kamala would have been a better president. She was the border czar and didn't even close the freaking border. She was officially the border czar. The responsibility was on her. I was very leery about her, because when I heard her speak in her word salad for 1 month out of a 3-month campaign and $1 billion spent, that they allowed her to talk, she didn't make any sense. And I'm like, how's she going to lead us? And then you pick Tampon Tim, who's under investigation now, because what's happened with the Somalians. I mean, this is a lot. I'm like, when is this nightmare is going to end? When are we going to get it together, folks? So we got to do better. So anyway, you guys, we're getting ready to get off. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe to this channel. We are not biased. I just made up my mind that I voted Republican, I voted Democrat. Now I'm independent. I want what's best for this nation. That's what I want. I want us all to do well. I don't think that we're not winning when we're fighting each other. There's no win in this, because you're mad. I see people in chat, everybody arguing about different things, but it's crap on both sides that I don't like. Both sides. Nobody is perfect. No side is perfect. The only perfect person ever existed on earth was Jesus Christ. And everybody else is fallible. Everybody else is imperfect. And Trump is not going to be, he's not a miracle worker. He is not going to be able to turn things around. And I think that some of the people that's in his administration, because of their biases and their prejudices, that they're feeding him negativity, and he feels some type of way by certain ethnicities that he wasn't showing that during his first term, not at this degree. So he has to separate himself. And if he wants to go down as a great president, he has to be a president for all Americans. And this is the honest to God truth, whether y'all like it or not. He has to be the president for all of us. If he doesn't choose to do that, we got 3 more years of just the country not pulling together. And if he's doing economy tour, and each tour he spent more time talking down about the communities. You can't spend all that time talking about, people want to hear what's the future of the United States of America, what's the future of the economy. They want to hear positivity. People want to hear that we're getting ready to go into 2026. We're getting ready in a few weeks. We're going to go ahead into a new year. People want better. People want a better future. People want the government to be there in time of need. People expect a lot from their government, because we've seen this government of the United States of America do so much for the world. But when it comes to us, the Bank of America is closed, the pocketbook is closed. And people are tired of that. And only what I want of Trump going to New Year, speak like you're the president of all Americans. It starts with him. He got to be big. Write your own speech. Stop having these people write your speeches. If you're going to talk like you're talking to all of us. You're no longer running for president. You are the president. So you're the president of all Americans, and he has to speak that way. I find it disturbing, like when he's, more and more he speaks now, he speaks like he's only representing Republicans, MAGA, and that he can't do that, because he's not president of half of America. He's the president of all of America, and unless he changes his tune, then people are going to keep combating one another, because everyone wants better. And we all need to strive for that. And this tour, economy tour, he's going to have to speak more about the economy and what people can look forward to, especially going to the new year. This would have been even better if he really talked more about the economy, and just went through, just the steps. Like when Biden was president, he could have went there. This was the economy. Give us numbers. This was the interest rate. This was the economy. This is what you guys. He did a little bit about the eggs, but I think he should have leaned into it more, especially in Pennsylvania, because he made a lot. Pennsylvania turned red because of Trump and the things that he promised for the steel mill workers and all of that. Better jobs and wages for them is what got him elected in Pennsylvania. They believed in him. So that's why he started there. But I think he needs to lean more in repeating the companies and the money. When are they going to come in? When are these jobs going to arrive? When are they going to start building these plants? When can people see a turnaround in the economy? Because people want to hear hope. They want to hear the future is going to get better. Like, give it a better timeline. By June, Saudi Arabia, the prince that promised $1 trillion to the United States business, when are they going to bring those factories here? When are they going to start building? When are you projecting these jobs are going to become available? Give people some sort of timeline so people they can strive, they can wait, but then they know, okay, something good is coming. But when you're just talking and you're not breaking it down, so to give people a timeline, I think that that's a little discouraging. He needs to give a timeline, and that would make it better for everyone. But anyway, you guys, thank you to moderators. Thank you for getting on. See, y'all got on here a little later. Trump almost lost Tennessee. Yeah. Well, we just gotta hope better. I just hope, God, that it gets better. People that's on here now, if you're not back for Christmas, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe to Speak the Truth 2.0. I did start a sports channel called Speak the Sports. I'm going to be uploading about the Eagles game. That's what I wanted to get to today, about Jalen Hurts and AJ Diva Brown and talk sports. And I do have another channel called Pray to All Here. Please subscribe to those other two channels because I want to get 50. If I think you get 50 subscribers, I can go live with my Pray to All Here because I want us to come together and, start lifting this country up in prayer because prayer changes things. You can't do nothing without Jesus. You didn't even wake up without him. So we want to give all things of glory to God for this beautiful day. And, just have faith in God and speak the sports. Look, NFL football, college football, NBA basketball. That's what my channel is going to cover. So don't forget to subscribe. I have the links in this video. And leave your comments. Like everybody, like I be having thousands of people in the chat, but then when it goes down, YouTube has changed, you guys. So they don't push the videos like they did. So I appreciate you guys if you do hit those likes and if you do subscribe to Speak the Sports and Pray to All Here, because I really want to I really am so wanted, lighten it up because this channel is like a lot more serious because it's more politics, it's more political. But I like talking sports. That's something we all could come together and have fun and talk about your favorite teams. That's fun. And Pray to All Here. Hey, we need Jesus and we're up right now. We woke up today because of God. So we want to give God all the glory and all the praise. And thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate it. Yes, my procedures, my man. Oh, the picture of the tree is cool. Thank you. Thank you guys. I got so much stuff in here from that I've been shopping till I drop. I know they say it is a problem, but I've been shopping. We got a Christmas tree on. I still got my fall stuff outside decorated. I do decorations every holiday outside, inside, but I got stuff. I've just been shopping because I love them Black Friday sales and I'm gonna hit after Christmas sales. So anyway, you guys stay blessed. And remember that God supply all your needs according to his riches and glory through Christ Jesus. You don't depend on man, depend on God. Because that's where your help comes from. It comes from the Lord. So y'all stay blessed. And don't forget to subscribe to those other channels and leave a comment. I want to read some comments after the live. So anyway, you guys, thanks for joining us. Peace out and God bless you.